Hey, welcome back. Sorry about the interruption. It shouldn't happen again, but if it does, nothing I could do about it. Okay. Did I miss anything? Nope. I still felt a bit confused, so I could not come up with a more meaningful answer. And what's your name? It felt like she could see right through me. Yeah, Semyon. Nice to meet you, Simian. Alright, I'm almost done here. Could you wait here just a minute? I'm gonna change and we'll go to Olga. Together, agreed? Agreed. After this exchange, she ran off. I sat on the pier and let my feet hang into the water. I was wearing heavy winter boots, but in such weather here was nothing wrong in getting my feet wet. Furthermore, it let me cool myself off a little. Looking at the river, I was brainstorming and processing everything that had happened. If this is some kind of conspiracy, it's a weird one, even too friendly at times. No, it really looks more like a random event. Some entirely incomprehensible random event. Shall we go? Slavia was standing beside me, dressed in the pioneer uniform again. Let's go. I've been here for a very short time. Of all of the people I've met, she looks the least suspicious. However, this fact is also suspicious in itself. We walked to the square. The USSR girl and the girl who hit me on the back were there, chasing each other. Is this some sort of game they're playing? Elena, enough running. I'll tell everything to Olga again. Aye, aye, Captain. I decided not to question Slavia for a while about what was going on the local residence. Better meet with this mysterious Olga first. Sounds like she's the boss here. We walked past the rows of almost identical cabins, some of which looked like fat beer barrels, while others looked more like household sheds. Finally, Slavia stopped in front of a smallish one-story cabin. It looked like an artist's painting. The faded paint, chipping here and there with age, was sparkling in the sun. The window shutters, slightly ajar, were swaying almost unnoticeably in the wind. The huge lilac bushes were growing at the sides. It seemed as if this ramshackle hut was drowning in a storm of purple silk, and the lilacs were like some elemental force were inexorably destroying the troop leader's house. What are you standing around for? Let's go. Slavia snapped me out of my daydreaming. And stop teasing Lana already. Oh, scary. Rena? Sounds like there's someone inside. Indeed, a moment later the door swung open, and Elena ran out and dashed past with the same mischievous grin. The pigtailed girl came out next. Don't let it bother you, Lana. So her name is Elena. Gotta be thankful it's not Rena, at least. That would make more sense if I knew who Rena was. But I don't... Instead of finishing her sentence, she blushed and quickly headed towards the square. For some reason I felt like turning and following her with my eyes, but Slavia said, Come. Oh, welcome. I'll come all over you, baby. And I'm continuing. We entered the cabin. Inside it looked like something similar to what I had imagined. 2 beds, a table, a couple of chairs, a simple carpet on the floor, a wardrobe. Nothing special, but at the same time it felt homelike and cozy, although this room was almost in the same state of disorder as my own flat. The girl standing near the window appeared to be about 25 years old. Nature had obviously gifted her with a pretty face and a good body. At least one thing can keep you happy in this pandemonium. The locals are beautiful. You're finally here. Excellent. My name is Olga. I'm the camp leader. Nice to meet you. I'm Simian. I decided to talk as if I wasn't surprised by anything that was going on. She came closer. We've been expecting you since early morning. You've been expecting me? Yes, of course. And when does the next bus come? And why do you need it? Yeah, right. Why would I need it? Guess I shouldn't ask her direct questions. The people here may react to them quite unlike how I'd prefer. And I doubt I'd get any answers. No reason. just curious. By the way, where are we exactly? Our mailing address, I mean? I wanted to send a letter to my parents to tell them I got here fine. For some reason I had the desperate idea that if I played along I would find something out. Oh, but your parents called just half an hour ago. Send their regards to you. Now that's a surprise. So can I call them? Because I forgot to tell them something before I left. No. She gave me a sweet, spontaneous smile. Why not? We don't have a phone here. Then how could my parents make a call to here? I've just come back from the district's central town. I talked with them there. Ah, so that's how it is. And can I somehow get to the town? No. She kept the same smile. Why not? Because the next bus only comes in a week. I decided not to inquire how the troop leader managed to get there and back. I would get no answer anyway. All this time Slavia was standing next to me and seemed to find nothing odd in our conversation. Oh, we need to find a uniform for you. I've got absolutely no desire to put on pioneer shorts or to wear that ridiculous red neckerchief. However, wearing winter clothes in summer isn't a great idea either. Right, thank you. I wonder if I'm the only one here who finds it strange that someone's wearing a coat and winter boots in such heat. Rightio, I'll be off then, and you can get yourself acquainted with the camp. Don't forget to come to dinner in the evening. Having said that, she walked out of the cabin. No, walked is not the right word. She rushed out. I ended up alone with Slavia. I must go too. Things to do. Take a walk. Look around the camp a bit. See you in the evening. If there is no threat or catch to this, then this is reality, as embodied by Slavia, becomes more and more appealing. For the first time today, I realized it was not awfully hot here, although obviously my winter clothes were to blame for that. I took off my coat and dropped it on the bed. My pullover followed it. I was now wearing only the t-shirt. That's much better. All I could do now was follow their advice and go look around the camp. I'll try to find something out in the meantime. Passing the local residence district, I saw a pioneer guy coming my way. And it really was a pioneer guy, not a pioneer girl. Apparently there were men even in this kingdom of Amazons.
Hello, you're new here. You must be Simian, right?
And how do you know?
Everyone knows already. I'm Electronic, by the way. The real one. You can call me that.
Electronic was a robot character appearing in popular Soviet film and book series. He looked like an exact copy of a school kid called Sergei Cheskov. Electronic, the real one. Things were going from crazy to completely insane. Alright.
Lana also calls me Cheesy.
Cheesy? On toast? With mushrooms?
Because my last name is Cheskov.
I see.
Let me show you around.
I accepted his offer, as it would have taken much longer to get to know this place alone. Fine, let's go. We ended up at the square again, as if this place was all there is to this camp. Lena was sitting on one of the benches reading some book. Electronic confidently approached her.
Hello, Lena. Meet the new guy, Semyon.
He started briskly. Hello. Well, you could say we've already met in a way.
Yes.
She looked away from the book for a moment, glanced at me, blushed, and went back to reading, as if not noticing that we were still here.
Alright, let's go.
I was at first surprised at meeting this girl was reduced to a couple of words, but then I thought that it was better that way. Electronic's vigorous activities did not fit well with Lena's shyness. Let's go. Next we came to a building, which I instantly identified as the canteen.
And this here...
I know. This is where you consume organic food.
Yeah, something like that.
On the canteen's porch stood the unfriendly girl who hit me on the back earlier. At the sight of her, my joking mood vanished in a blink of an eye. Really, now is not the best time to be pulling this guy's leg, even though he is quite hilarious. First I need to figure out what's what here, or at least where I am.
Hey, over there, that's Alyssa...
Zyachaskia. Be careful around her. He spoke in a whisper. Zva means two in Russian. The whole nickname sounds exactly like Tuch, a Russian in Russian, a reference to the late Chitru anonymous image board.
Don't ever risk calling her Tuchka. She doesn't like that.
did you say? What did you call me?
She must have heard him. In the blink of an eye, Alyssa jumped down from the porch and dashed towards us.
Alright, you'll manage here from onwards.
Electronic took his heels. I don't need a run. Elisa, running past, stopped for a moment and growled. I'll deal with you later! Deal with me? What did I do wrong? I added a forced, guilty smile to my words. But what am I guilty of? She made no reply and carried on chasing Electronic. Looks like I'll have to kill time alone waiting for dinner. I decided to go east, at least in the direction where east would be in my world. Soon after, I found myself near a football pitch. A game was in full swing here. I guess watching for a bit wouldn't do any harm. In my childhood and teen years, I was not a bad player myself. I even thought of going professional, but a few injuries in a row killed my desire to risk my health for the sake of uncertain chance in the game. Kids of different ages were running around the pitch. I could see a boy of about 10 and a girl of about 14 years old. A girl. Hey, that's you, Lana. Alright, so she plays football. What's so surprising? She seems a restless one after all. I was standing quite far from the pitch, but she still noticed me.
Hey, you.
Yolana shouted.
Wanna play?
I don't know how to answer. On the one hand, running around for 10 minutes is no big deal. On the other hand, any wrong move in my situation could be my final one. But in any case, my attire wasn't suitable for the weather. If I played in winter boots and warm jeans, I would sweat like a pig. And playing barefoot and without jeans would be simply unethical. Maybe another time, alright? I shouted in response, turned and walked away. I was followed by Yolana's screams about my pants, or about me being a pansy, or something like that. Evening was falling, making me feel tired and empty after a day wasted with no real purpose. I come back to the square, sat down on a bench and gave an exhausted sigh. I better sit here and wait for dinner. After all, it's easier to search for answers when you're not hungry. They do give food to people here, right? Well, I'd assume so. They have the canteen, so... You know, it's curious how the simplest human needs can break the will to ponder on things, to strive for something. For example, I feel hungry now, so I care much less about where I am or what is happening to me. Could great people also be affected by this? And in that case, how did Spartacus start the slave uprising in ancient times? I can only conclude that I am not a great person, and it does not really matter which mechanism I serve as a gear in, society, the Matrix, or a weird pioneer camp. My thoughts were interrupted by the sound of bells chiming from a loudspeaker on a light pole. That did not sound like bells. Must be the dinner call. I headed towards the canteen. It was a good thing that I knew where it was. Olga was there, standing on the porch. I stopped and looked closely at her, as if I were expecting something. She looked back at me for a while, but at last came closer. Simian, what are you waiting for? Come in already. Guess nothing bad can happen if I go with her. My stomach backed me up here. The two of us went inside. The canteen looked like a canteen. I'd had a chance to visit a factory canteen at some point in my life. This one was exactly the same, just maybe a bit cleaner and more modern. Metal chairs and tables, glazed tiles on the wall and on the floor, unsophisticated tableware with the occasional crack. Guess that's what a canteen in a pioneer camp is supposed to look like. Semyon, wait a moment, we'll find you a place to sit. She looked around the place. Zveshka! Hold it right there! Olga shouted at Alyssa, who was passing by. What? What's up with your clothes? Anything wrong with them? Indeed, her attire looked somewhat provocative. Get your uniform nice and neat right now. Alright, alright. Alyssa got her shirt right and walked past, shooting an unpleasant glare at me. So, where can we find you a place to sit? There weren't a lot of free seats. Go over there, next to you, Lana. Maybe I... Yeah, it's fine. The food's already on the table, too. I had no other choice but to accept. Of course, there was the probability that the cutlets were poisoned with curare, the mashed potatoes generously seasoned with arsenic, and the glass filled with excellent antifreeze instead of compote. In common Russian language, kotleta, cutlet, is minced meat, fried or baked in the shape of a ball or a cylinder, close to American patties. Compote is a drink made by boiling fresh or dried food in a large amount of water. Compote in French. But it all looked so tasty that I had no chance to resist.
Hey,
What do you want? I replied rather rudely to Elena, who was sitting next to me.
why didn't you play football with us?
Because of my clothes, said I, pointing at the source of the problem.
Oh, alright then, eat.
However, there wasn't much left to eat. My cutlet was missing from my plate. Since they're eating right now, just give me a second to drink. I am now out of apple juice. Only she could have done it. No, more precisely, none but Lana could have done it. Give me back my cutlet.
In a big family, you snooze, you lose. It could cost you a cutlet if you were careless.
Give it back, I'm telling you.
I want my cutlet, you bitch.
Don't mess with a man's food. I looked at her menacingly and was about to reach out my hand.
See? I don't have it.
Indeed, Lana's plate was empty. It seemed like this little girl eats as fast as she steals someone's cutlets.
Take it easy. We'll work something out now.
She grabbed my plate and ran off. There was no point in following her. If they wanted to poison me here, they could have done it in a much easier way. After a minute later, Lana returned and handed me the plate with a steaming hot cutlet on it.
Here's one for the starving.
Thanks. It was all I could say. I was so hungry that my suspicions were gone in a flash. I picked up the cutlet with my fork and...
What the? Some bug? No, not a bug. An insect. It's got legs and it's wiggling. It's wiggling.
The plate fell to the floor and broke into pieces. The chair hit me hard on my leg while falling. I've disliked insects since I was a child. But when these creepy crawlies appear in my plate, that's just way too much. You little... Lana seemed ready for such a twist and was already at the door, laughing as if she had just heard a fresh stand-up comedy joke. I dashed after her. Intense music is intense. We ran out of the canteen. We were just a few dozen meters apart, and I felt I could catch this little girl easily. We ran through the square, past the club's house, and ran onto the forest path. I started to gasp for breath. I should have quit smoking, I guess. Lana passed out of sight on the next turn. It can't be true that she managed to get away from me. It simply can't. I stopped and tried to catch my breath again. Night was falling. Looks like I'm lost. It was a bad idea to stay in the woods at night. Better get back to the camp. However, I had absolutely no clue which way to go. Well, gotta choose at random. I wandered for quite some time in the forest and even thought of crying for help, but finally I saw the camp's fence beyond the trees. Everything fell back into place. The bus is gone, I mumbled quietly. On the one hand, there was nothing strange about that. The bus couldn't just stay there forever. On the other hand, it meant there was someone driving, because buses do not drive themselves. Or do they? The world seemed too normal, but every event here had at least two explanations for it. An ordinary, real, everyday explanation, and a surreal one. Certainly the driver could have just been off for a snack, and I left too soon, and that's why. In any case, this is not the place for me. Whether that bus drives itself or not was probably an important question, but it was much more important to know how I had got here at all, and where this here was. The fields and woods stretching towards the horizon had no answers. There was nothing familiar about them. A strange, odd, and alien world. However, at the same time, it was absolutely not frightening. Either my self-preservation instinct decided to resign from its job, or all this running around the camp and the local pioneers had lulled me so much into their carefree normality that I was simply forgetting what had happened to me just a couple of hours ago. Although I probably just had no strength left to worry. All I wanted was some peace, calmness. I wanted to just have a break from it all, and only after that would I continue looking for answers, ready and reloaded. However, this would be some time later. And what about it? Can I allow myself to relax? It got completely dark, and in any case, it was better to spend the night in the camp. I was about to head back when someone came up silently from behind.
Hello, what are you doing here so late?
It was Slavia standing before me. I was so surprised that I jumped.
So, you didn't catch Lana, did you?
She smiled. I nodded disappointedly and sighed.
No wonder. No one ever has.
Yeah, she's a real rocket girl. She could have found a better use for her energy than looking for adventures.
You must be hungry. You didn't manage to have dinner after all.
Indeed, I completely forgot about my hunger, but after those words of hers, my stomach drew attention to itself by giving a traitorous rumble. Slavia smiled.
Let's go then.
What, is this canteen still open?
It's alright, I have the keys.
The keys?
Yes, I have keys to all the facilities in this camp.
How come?
Well, I'm something like the leader's aide here.
I see. Well, let's go. It was an offer we can't refuse. Okay, I'm gonna end the part here. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.